Are there any time frames for this appeal and to be heard?
There is no time frame, but I already feel vindicated, irrespective of what happens ultimately. Because when 10 years pass and nothing can be proven, but it still continues, it shows there's no evidence. Because when there is evidence, as the Supreme Court showed in the steel mills case, it's like this.
Tell me about your children growing up. You're now living in Dubai. It's been a while. Have your children, how long have they lived in Pakistan for? What do they know about Pakistan? What do you tell them?
Well, my children are very proud of Pakistan. They're very proud of being Pakistanis. They're very aware when they move about who they are, even though they don't live in Pakistan, because my father, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, is widely admired and respected within the Arab world. And I am also, of course, well known as the first Muslim woman Prime Minister. So they're very aware of the fact that their family has huge contributions in the development and modernization of Pakistan and in its democratic struggle. But at the same time, I like to keep my children out of politics. And I think that children should first pay attention to their education. They should be disciplined, they should be good-mannered, they should be respectful to their elders. And that's what I try to do with my children. I want them to study hard, as I want all the children of Pakistan to do, because I believe that education is the key to our own country's progress.
Last question on the personal front. Mr. Zardari came out, he was considered, all the statements that he made were very prolific. I mean, he turned heads. A lot of people that were against him heard what he had to say, heard his suffering, and his stance was appreciated. Then he disappears from the scene, and it is said that he lives in New York.
My husband has suffered a heart attack, a massive heart attack, brought upon by the stresses to which he had been subjected, the solitary confinement, the long periods for the lack of exercise, and muscle. The heart itself is a muscle. So obviously when you are denied exercise, your muscles atrophy. And his heart had, basically the vessels of his heart had atrophied. And he suffered a massive heart attack, which had been misdiagnosed in prison as spondylitis. He does suffer from spondylitis, but the bulk of the pain that he used to get was actually heart related, and God wanted him to live, which is why I believe that after so many years, God had him freed at the time that he was freed. Now he's undergoing treatment, and unfortunately he's still subjected to the stress, and he's had complications with that heart treatment. He does live in Manhattan, and I do live apart from him in Dubai, although I come and visit him often.
Tell us about the first part of that question, which, what is his role in the PPP structure overall? He came out again. It was a very strong, very prominent role, always in front of the media, and now he's disappeared. Is it because of health reasons?
He has not disappeared. He is unwell. He has not disappeared. It is not a political decision to distance him. It is a decision brought about by the medical conditions which he faces. And I hope that he can recover. And he certainly longs to go back to Pakistan. He misses Pakistan. He misses his home. He was in prison for such a long time. He misses his children. After all, it was my son's 18th birthday earlier this month, and he so longed to be with all of us in Dubai to observe that day, because my son will now go to college. So obviously next September he'll be in college, and it'll be very difficult for all of us to celebrate his birthday with him in college and the girls in school. But because the doctors have advised against him flying, so he cannot fly, so he could not be with us. So he feels it, and we all feel it, but we all pray for his health, and we hope that he will get better soon. He's a very courageous man, and he's put up with dreadful circumstances which would have broken any other person, but he has faced it bravely. Sometimes you face things mentally, but the physical manifestations are still there. So it's a medical decision, not a political decision, and when he's well, he'll be back in Pakistan helping the party.
It is said that if elections were held today or sometime in the near future, Benazir Bhutto is a sure bet. She is coming back. She has the popular support of the people of Pakistan, and she's going to be voted into power. If that happens, how do you see the future of Pakistan? And again, I'll go back to that question that I asked. You've had this chance twice. And yes, it was short-circuited and there were other things that happened. But what are we going to see, hypothetically?
Tell me, why do I ask you a question? The PPP was in government twice, and you say that people still want PPP. That means that while PPP may have disappointed some of the people, it did not disappoint all the people. And the important thing is to see that why PPP did not disappoint all the people. And I think the clear message is that the PPP is a party of the poor. Basically, the PPP and its leadership have suffered. And because we have suffered, we know the sufferings of ordinary people. And it has always been our aim and our desire to end poverty, hunger, exploitation, and to invest in schools and in hospitals, to bring about better sanitation, drinking water, to end power shutdowns, and really to bring modernity to the people of Pakistan, to create opportunities for the young people of Pakistan. If PPP is elected to a third term, which decision will be taken, I hope, by the people of Pakistan and not by the managers of the regime, then there are more challenges that we face. The biggest challenge right now that Pakistan faces, as well as the larger world community, has to do with terrorism. And it worries me as a Pakistani that whenever a terrorist is caught, somehow the tracks lead back to Islamabad. Whether it's a shoe bomber, whether it's the 7/7 attacks in England, somehow or the other, the tracks lead back. Whether it's the CEO of Al-Qaeda, Khalid Sheikh, who's arrested. And that's not right. Pakistanis are not terrorists. And yet Pakistanis, when we go to airports and people know we're Pakistanis, we're scrutinized. We're looked at with suspicion. So I believe that this perception that is caused by these footsteps leading to our country is one which is not good for the future of Pakistan, and we have to tackle terrorism. We have to make it very clear that the laws of Pakistan must be respected, and nobody can use our soil to plot or plan or carry out any activity against any other country. That's the first priority, to make our region free of terrorism. Secondly, I think it's very important for us to build peace with our neighbors, Afghanistan and Pakistan. If we have safe neighbors, we will have safety within our country. And we need safety within our country. We need an end to the sectarian strife that we see. We need an end to the feelings of secessionism which are developing within the smaller provinces. It's very rampant in Balochistan. It can spread elsewhere. We need to bring our people together by giving them a just distribution of resources. And we need to take our army out of the politics of Pakistan. This has to be done in a proper way. The civilian bureaucracy has to meet the challenges of a modern era so that the framework can be created. If we have a stable framework, our people are hardworking and talented. And I believe that our youth prosper wherever they go overseas, and they can certainly prosper within Pakistan if the government gives them a proper framework with a proper infrastructure. And that will be the goal of a Pakistan People's Party government, to end the terrorism, to build peace with India and Afghanistan, and to bring into position certain reforms with the help of the ARD parties to give justice and equity to our people and to our provinces.
We need to take another short break having this important discussion. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay with us.